Now you can see over here that I have already opened up PyCharm. Now let's just get to know a bit about what a tuple is. So in Python, a tuple is an ordered collection of elements which can be of any type and is immutable. Tuples are created by placing items inside parentheses separated by commas. They can contain any number of items, and these items can be of different types, such as integers, floats, strings, or even other tuples. Once a tuple is created, its elements cannot be changed, added, or removed, making tuples immutable. Elements in a tuple can be accessed using indexes, similar to lists. Tuples support slicing to access a range of elements, and they can also be nested with other tuples. Common uses for tuples include storing heterogeneous data and data that should not be altered. Additionally, tuples can serve as keys in dictionaries because they are hashable, provided all their elements are hashable. So let me show you how you'll be able to create yourself up a tuple and how are you going to customize it and how are you going to work with it. So first thing over here, what I want to do is that we are going to make ourselves a variable, but this is going to be a tuple. So to make it a tuple, what we're going to do over here, we're going to start off with a variable, just like I said. So it could be like a position. So I'm going to put in position, and I'm going to put in an equal, and then I'm going to do is going to be opening the parentheses, and I'm going to put in 5 comma, put in a bit of space, and then put in 9. Now here we have put both of these values inside of our, let's say, our parentheses. Now if I want to print it out, print, and I want to put the value to be position. Now inside of the position, I'm going to put in a square bracket to find out that specific tuple out of it. So what I'm going to do over here is that I'm just going to put in any specific index. Now the index of this tuple is also going to be the same as you see in list. So 5 over here is going to be 0 and 9 over here is going to be 1. So if I put in 0 over here and play up the whole thing, it will give me 5 as the answer. Now if I just change this value and if I put in 10 comma 5 and play it up, you'll basically see it's going to give me 10 as the value. Now, if I change this number over here and if I put in 2, it will give me 9 as the answer of my tuple. Okay, so that is how simple it is. And now you'll also be able to work with multiple other values of a tuple. And now, just like I said about tuple, is that it is going to be immutable, so you will not be able to customize it. And I'm also going to give you a proof and a show. So what you basically have to do is customize your own tuple. And I'm going to make myself another line in the second one, and I'm going to put in, let's say, position. I'm going to customize my list, or let's say it's my tuple. So if I put in a square bracket and if I put in the index number which I want to change, so 0 1 2, so here I want to change this value into 2, or this is going to be the second index, or let's say 1 is going to be this 1 over here, and I'm going to change it with another specific value. Let's say it's going to be equal. Now I'm going to put in 8. So if I want to change it, you will basically see an error will appear up because, just like I said, a tuple is immutable. So whatever you put, let's say remove, clear, and all of them, it is not going to work. Okay, so what you basically have to do is change it back into a list, and then you'll be able to work with it, or you'll be able to change it. So how am I going to do that? Now, instead of using single, or let's say 1 digit, I'm going to show you about 2 digit. Okay, so if I just remove this value, and I'm going to do is going to be using square brackets inside over here. So if I put in square bracket and if I put in, let's say, 5 comma 9, and if I change this or play it up, I'm going to put in 9 over here. I'm going to change this play, and you can still see there is an error because we have position 2 over here. So I'm going to change it to 1 and play it up. And now you can see this has turned into 8. So now when you basically use the square bracket, it's going to be turned into a list. But when you use the parentheses, it will term it as, let's say, a tuple. So let's just get on with what the difference of a tuple and a list is. So in contrast, a list in Python is an ordered collection of elements that is mutable. Just like you can see, when we've changed it into a list, we were able to change up the value. But whenever we turn it into a parentheses, I'm going to put in 9 and I'm going to close the parentheses and I'm going to open the parentheses here. And if I play it up, it will not be able to change it because tuples are immutable. Okay, so I'm going to close this off again and I'm going to keep this as a list. Okay, so lists are created by placing items inside square brackets separated by commas like tuples. Lists can contain any number of items of different types. However, unlike tuples, lists are mutable, meaning their elements can be changed, added, or removed. Elements in a list can be accessed using indexing, and list also supports slicing to access a range of elements. Lists can be nested within other lists, allowing for complex data structures. Lists are typically used for homogeneous data and collections of items that may need to change during program execution, offering greater flexibility compared to tuples. Okay. So now I'm going to be working or showing you how you'll be able to work with multiple numbers and turn it into a list. So if I put in this bracket and it's going to term it as a tuple. So I'm going to put in a comma and I'm going to make more lists. So I'm going to put in, let's say, 6, comma, 10. There we go. I'm going to put in another comma over here. I'm going to put in a bracket. I'm going to put in 11, comma, 17. After the bracket, I'm going to put in another comma, open parentheses. I'm going to put in 13, comma, 20. So basically, we're done over here. Now, if I want to change up the whole thing, what we basically have to do is just play it. And you can see we have 8, and this has turned the whole thing into 8. So if I'm going to Control X, remove the whole thing, and I'm going to do is going to play it up. And there you can see we have 6 and 10. Okay, so this is the position. If I want to change up the value, what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to turn both of them into, let's say, 2 different values. I'm going to do is going to be keeping 18, comma, 27. So if I just hit on enter or play the whole thing, it will give me that specific value. If I change this value into 3 and this value into 3, I'm going to change that value into 18 into 27. So if I put in 4 over here and play it, it will still show me an error. So you have to keep one thing in mind is that both of these values have to be the same. So if I play it, you can see this is still an error because there is no specific value on 4. So I'm going to show you that if you want to add more, just put in a comma, open up the parentheses, put in a specific value. I'm going to put in like this, play the whole thing, and there we go. We have our answer. Okay. So this is how simple it is to work with tuples and to understand about tuples. So the last thing what I want to share to you is that the primary difference between tuples and lists is mutability. Tuples are immutable, meaning their content cannot be changed after creation, which can help ensure data integrity and can lead to slight performance improvements. While on the other hand, lists are mutable and allow for modification. This fundamental difference dictates their usage. Tuples are often used to represent fixed collection of items, such as coordinates or return values from functions, while lists are used for collections that may need to be modified. Understanding these differences is crucial for writing efficient and maintainable Python code. For example, a tuple might be used to store coordinates 10, 20, which remain constant, whereas a list could be able or be used to store fruits such as apple, banana, cherry, where items can be modified or items can be added. So as we have it as a list, we can also change this specific value into an alphabetical value where we will not be able to change that in a tuple. So if I put in this and if I put in apple, if I just play it, it will show me apple as the answer. But if I turn this value over here And if I just turn this into a tuple, close this off, if I play it, it will not be able to give me the answer, okay? Because this is immutable, okay? So thank you for watching this video up till the very end and hope you understood about everything in this class. If you still have any confusion or any question, feel free to ask me anytime. I'm always there to help you out. So in our next class, I'm going to be showing you how you'll be able to work with functions and a lot of functions, which I'm going to show in that class. So make sure not to skip any part because if you do, you might miss out on something very important. So let's move on to our next class and keep continuing our course.